Now, I ain't saying she a gold digger, but when Kim first tied the knot with Kanye, it was reported her net worth was $45 million. Not bad for a, well, I don't really know what she does. But at the point of their marriage, the combined net worth of both Kanye and Kim was an estimated $155 million, with Kanye contributing a whopping 110 mil. That's million, not milliliters, though I think he contributed a few of those in the end. Interestingly, it was also alleged in reporting around their net worths that Kim had allegedly made a whopping $18 million off the back of her previous wedding to Chris Humphries. Frankly, weddings are one of her biggest earners, and in the end it does seem like the Kanye marriage would end up paying dividends to Kim, but more on that later. After the incredibly lavish proposal had been accepted by Kim, Kanye was head over heels and going all in on their new relationship. If the ultimate PDA of the Bound 2 video wasn't enough, going forward Kanye was publicly on the warpath to prove to the world just how much he loved Kim. In January 2014, Kanye was reportedly suspected on battery charges after attacking an allegedly racist 18-year-old man who had insulted Kim on the street, with reports later coming out that Kanye had, quote, pummeled the man like a boxer after Kim had admonished him for insulting nearby paparazzi who were blocking her way. In a way, it's incredibly romantic that Kanye would come to Kim's defense like a superhero, but unfortunately it does fit in with a long-running trend of Kanye losing his temper and escalating verbal confrontations to fistfights, with Ye the previous year getting into hot water after putting the beats on a paparazzi at LAX airport. Nonetheless, at this point Kanye was beginning to play the role as Kim's protector, and their whirlwind romance was catching headline after headline. After delivering a 1,000-knuckle sandwich to an op on the street, on Valentine's Day Kanye West would deliver 1,000 roses to his bae. And ahead of the wedding, Kim and Kanye were allegedly pouring millions of dollars into renovating their Los Angeles home together. And apparently at a certain point Kanye had become a complete control freak regarding the design of the property. It was said originally that Kim was planning the property's design to be inspired by the lavish Palace of Versailles. However, apparently Kim's Trumpian interior decorating plans were dashed by Kanye, perhaps having something to do with the fact that the real-life Palace of Versailles turned down the couple's request to stage their wedding there, with this apparently being followed by Kanye's decision to completely change the planned design of the property, opting for a hyper-minimalist approach, with the implementation of his new vision and tearing out the changes that they had already made, estimated to be costing the couple as much as $30 million. And Kim and Kanye would take the same minimal approach when it came to choosing their new wedding venue, with their eventual May 2014 wedding taking place at Fort de Belvedere in Florence, Italy, a 16th century fortress with far more low-key, but still lavish settings for the couple to make their lifelong commitments to each other's love. And despite this venue being slightly less showy than their initial first choice, this minimal fortress did not come cheap, with the venue being allegedly hired for the grand sum of 300,000 euros. Now, fun little history fact for you here, this fortress was built to protect the ruling Medici family at the time. And the choice of the Medici family fortress likely was chosen specifically by Kanye, who often name drops the historical family in his rambling rants, I assume to prove that he's, much smarter and better than everyone else.
I am the #1 most impactful artist of our generation. Now who's gonna be the Medici family and stand up and let me create more?
Well, I'll tell you who won't do that, Kanye. The actual Medici family, whose surviving members actually came out to slam Kim and Kanye's choice of their historical fortress as their wedding venue due to its classification as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But Kim and Kanye refused to let history prevent them from making history, pressing on with their nuptials at the historic venue. Local outrage be damned. The wedding itself had reportedly 600 VIP guests. Notably absent was Jay-Z and Beyonce. Despite early reports that the Jigga Man would be Kanye West's best man, it would later emerge that Jay-Z had actually turned down Kanye's offer as best man, because apparently in a stroke of pure class, him and Beyonce refused to take part in the filming of the wedding as they knew it would be used in episodes of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, with it being reported in the media that Beyonce was mortified at the idea of being included in the Kardashians' trashy reality show. It seems that this disagreement would later drive a wedge between Kanye and Jay-Z's historic friendship, with their collapsing relationship later playing a significant role in Kanye West's mental decline. And so eventually the big day came, and despite turning down the full-blown ceremony, at least the pre-wedding party would still take place at the Palace de Versailles in Paris, with the pre-wedding event apparently being so closely guarded it was subject to a no-fly zone. Hell, hopefully Kim's next wedding party takes place in Kiev. In fact, on top of that, the wedding ceremony itself taking place in Italy allegedly was intensely guarded by the Italian military and what the news described as a private army of security, apparently all with the intention of keeping paparazzi from outside of the walls of the fortress. Because of course not a single photograph is going to be taken place in a Kardashian event without Kris having a little taste. Of course in the end, end, pictures were captured, and the private ceremony was intensely covered by media across the globe.
Pop culture queen Kim Kardashian making her way down the aisle in Givenchy in this exclusive photo obtained by People magazine. The long-sleeved lace frock reminiscent of a much different type of royal. A nervous Kanye West, clad in Givenchy as well, waiting for his bride on an Italian hillside, standing in front of a 20-foot wall of flowers.
The tightly controlled wedding ceremony was a lavish affair, and images from the event would eventually make their way to most major publications. And ironically, despite telling the world that she didn't intend for any footage of the wedding to end up in Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kanye himself would even feature heavily in the season 9 finale of Keeping Up with the Kardashians that covered the wedding in its build-up, and after all the talk of the closely guarded event not being included in the show, Kim's assistant managed to miraculously capture some footage from above the venue with a handy cam. And apparently in the end, Kim loved that footage so darn much that she decided to include the money shot in the show after all, as the very final shot of the season 9 finale. Funny how things work out, isn't it? In fact, the opening of that season 9 finale came with an on-screen disclaimer saying all footage had been captured by attendees of the wedding with their own personal phones. A claim which reviewers of the episode struggled to believe, but apparently even more unbelievable was Kanye's speech from the wedding. Story goes, Kanye held the mic for a whopping 20 minutes, giving a speech more akin to a presidential campaign than at a wedding, and ironically using his expensive and star-studded occasion to diss the media and rally for the rights of rich reality TV star celebrities. Apparently during the speech, Kanye was raging with anger over the fact that his image is used and sold and put on the cover of papers and spoofed in comedy shows like Saturday Night Live. I mean, just think about it, the irony of marrying the master of selling off your own image to the media, and now she's bundling up his own image along with hers selling it, and he's using his speech in the wedding marrying this chick to rally against this very practice. I mean, it beggars belief. And also, let's just take a moment to appreciate the fact that he dissed Saturday Night Live in his own wedding speech for mocking him. But more on Saturday Night Live later in the video. In the speech, Kanye went on to describe the Kardashians as an industry unto themselves, calling Kim Kardashian the ideal celebrity and describing her as art. It's really interesting that the language that Kanye uses to describe his own wife seems a lot more fitting for property than it does a human being. He seems to treat his wife like a fine work of art. His wedding's almost like a Sotheby's auction where he's purchased ownership of her for an 8-figure sum. Rather than marrying a woman he loves, he often talks about her like a trophy that he's won, the ideal woman. And to me, at a certain point, it starts to feel like Kanye West's marriage of Kim Kardashian means more to him as a personal achievement than it does as a genuine relationship. You know, he won a VMA, he's won a Grammy, and now having reached the very top of the celebrity and artistic leaderboards, he secured himself the ultimate prize of all, a nice Kardashian to put on the mantelpiece. But let's be fair, this was a mutually beneficial merger for Kim too, because she really took home the prize in this marriage. Despite them both already being rich, Kanye's net worth was more than double hers at the point of marriage. But setting aside the money, Kanye's cultural cachet, clout, and creativity outstrips Kim's infinitely. The most gifted and talented musician and designer who's ever lived, in his opinion, now married to the poster child of famous for being famous. Kim is famously irritated by anybody asking her what she actually does, or what she's done to deserve her place at the top of the cultural food chain. Remember when Kanye said that Kim gave him everything that money couldn't buy, love and a family? Well, in kind of the same way, Kanye gave Kim everything she couldn't buy with money. The talent and creativity that she actually needed to take her brand and her businesses to the next level. And in her union with Kanye West, they combined to create a cultural celebrity powerhouse. The New York Times referred to their marriage as a historic blizzard of celebrity. In a way, a kind of social media royal family was emerging. Some people call them the hip-hop Kate and Will. Other people might call them the dollar store Jay-Z and Beyonce. But regardless of how you look at it, from here, at least for a while, they would go from strength to strength. Millions to billions. From an unplanned child while still married to another man, to the picture-perfect family of 6. And so, at least for a few years, they would be able to present themselves to the public as the perfect power couple who would live happily ever after.